Hello, everyone. Here's a quick look at the top trending international news stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment during this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. People in the UK are lining up for blocks to get their COVID-19 vaccine booster due to concern over the Omicron variant continuing to spread. Omicron is already the dominant COVID strain in London. This week, the country reached a record number of COVID daily infections. People are being urged to wear masks, practice social distancing, and work from home if they can. And Queen Elizabeth canceled a family lunch at Windsor Castle as a precaution. However, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is receiving backlash from conservative MPs who are opposed to his new COVID restrictions. And he's facing harsh criticism after more pictures emerged revealing dozens of maskless people partying at the Conservatives' headquarters in London last December when indoor gatherings were banned in England. In Australia, 5 children are dead and 4 are critically injured after they fell from a bouncy castle. Officials say the bouncy castle was part of a celebration for the end of the school year. During the celebration, strong winds lifted the bouncy castle 32 feet in the air, and the children fell out. Australia's Prime Minister says the tragic event is heartbreaking. In Germany, police say a group of suspected anti-vaxxers were arrested in Dresden for allegedly plotting to assassinate the governor of Saxony, who is pro-vaccine. The suspects were said to be angry that officials are proposing vaccine mandates for all Germans. Germany is dealing with an uptick in violence against police, journalists, and demonstrations against the coronavirus pandemic measures. In the Dominican Republic, 7 passengers and 2 crew members were killed after their private plane crashed while making an emergency landing just minutes after takeoff. The plane was headed to Miami and was in the air for about 16 minutes when the pilot declared an emergency, turned around, and tried to land at the airport. Among the victims was Puerto Rican music producer Jose A. Hernandez, as well as his wife and their child. The cause of the crash or the reason for emergency landing is not yet known. In the Philippines, Super Typhoon Rai slammed into the east coast, bringing torrential rain and the threat of widespread flooding, killing more than 30 people. The storm intensified as it approached the coast, starting as a Category 1 storm and increasing to a Category 5 storm in just 24 hours. The super typhoon is expected to travel through the country's central and southern region. And hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes to government shelters. Starbucks is apologizing after an undercover report said 2 of its shops in China used expired ingredients. Investigators said the incidents occurred at 2 stores in the eastern Chinese city of Wuxi, and said one of the Starbucks stores used expired matcha liquid to make lattes, while another put pastries up for sale that were meant to be thrown away. Starbucks found that the 2 stores had indeed committed violations. The company had not sufficiently paid attention to food safety standards, and now Starbucks says it will carry out inspections and staff training across all of its 5,400 stores in China. Thousands of fans paid tribute to Mexican singer Vicente Fernandez. He died last week at the age of 81. The ranchera star was in poor health after a fall forced him to have surgery. Fans filled an arena for his memorial. They showed up at his ranch in Mexico, and some fans gathered at his Walk of Fame star in Hollywood to sing several of his songs. And finally, a couple of big sports stories. Barcelona soccer superstar Sergio Aguero became overwhelmed with emotions as he announced his retirement from football. Aguero is just 33 years old, but he was recently diagnosed with a heart condition. He said this was the hardest decision he's ever made, but his health comes first, and he is now at peace with his decision. Also, 7-time Formula One champ Lewis Hamilton received his knighthood from the Prince of Wales. The ceremony took place at Windsor Castle this week, just a few days after he fell short of winning a record 8th title during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The 36-year-old is the 4th Formula One driver to be knighted, but the first to be knighted while still racing. Sign1News will be broadcasting live international news updates every Sunday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. And you can also watch on Amazon, Apple TV, and Roku. See you next week. Bye-bye.